Okay, I'm going to do a quick video this morning on how to change the rear beam on a 306. You might be doing this for several reasons, probably just because you're upgrading to the likes of a GTI 6 beam or something with rear discs, or maybe just a S16 or HDI beam. I'm actually doing it because someone's ruined the back end, which I'll show you in a minute, but it's quite a simple concept that you can do yourself, and the garage will cost you a fortune.
Who's owned the car before me has actually tried to weld the stub axle in the swing arm, and the welds are broken, and basically it's pretty lethal, so I'll be just changing the whole beam because there are other problems with it as well.
Best thing you want to do is make sure you chuck the front wheels, jack it up and put it on axle stands. You need to be fairly high because you've got to be able to drop the whole beam down, so jack it up, chuck the front end, jack it up, and then take the back wheels off. In a lot of cases when you get problems with these rear axles, it's easier just to change the whole thing than it is to try and fix it, because it's only a matter of 6 bolts, 2 handbrake cables and 2 brake lines. Right, once you've got it jacked up the wheels off, if you want, taking the hub off is the easiest thing to do, because it's actually easier to leave the handbrake cables on the car if you're going from drum to drum, whereas if you're going from a drum to disc, you will actually need to change the cables because of the way it works at the back, so don't worry about that too much then. In that case you need to go inside the car, take the centre console out, take the gear gator off. There's 2 10mm bolts and 2 Torx bits in the back, and if you look in behind the handbrake, you've got there's a bolt in there which has a nut on it, and then you've got your 2 handbrake cables either side. And on that thing you've basically got a bracket like that with the 2 cables sitting. You just slacken the nut right off, take the nut off, spin that like that, then the cables will pull out, and then you can pull the cables out from underneath the car. So you've probably got to drop the exhaust to get the stupid exhaust shield out of the way, because it's usually routed right underneath it. So once you've sorted out your handbrake cables at either end, depending on what you're doing, you need to disconnect the brake lines. Basically you need to assess where you reckon it'll undo without breaking it, because brake lines can often be a pain. Easiest thing I think is take the spare wheel out, which is usually seized, then underneath, and take the cradle out. To get the cradle out, on the left hand mount there's a bolt. If you take the bolt, there's a little bracket that sits in there that holds, so you take that 10mm bolt out, and the whole stupid thing that holds the wheel will come out. And up underneath you've got the car to the beam brake connections, which as you can see I've already disconnected. Just make sure you've got exactly the right spanner, cover it in WD-40 and be careful with it because you can easily round them. If you do, which please try not to, try putting mole grips on each side and do that, or leave it in WD-40 for a few hours. Once you put your brake lines off and your handbrake cables off, it's basically then a case of putting jacks underneath your rear beam at 2 points, taking the weight of the beam. When you go inside the car, now in the boot on each side you've got the black caps when you look at them, 1 there and 2 at the front. Pop the 2 caps off, the chisel or a screwdriver or something, slacken all the bolts off, and once you've got definitely got the axle supported by the jacks underneath, take all the bolts off and slowly lower I suggest 2 jacks on each side, lower the axle down to the floor, pull it out, and then you're ready to put the new one on. It should all come off as one unit. As you can see, I got it on jacks now, so I'll just loosen those bolts off and drop the axles off the car. Handbrake cable's disconnected both sides. If you do need to get the handbrake cable off the drum like I am here, easiest way to do it is when that's in the drum, sat down in behind that slot there. Just get a chisel in here, pry the chisel up, or a screwdriver or something, that will pop the cable out of there, and where it exits out of that hole, if you get a little punch or something, just give it a quick tap with a hammer, you'll find that that will just slide out, just like that. If you take that Allen key at the end of the torsion bar, just use the whole bracket. It's far easier than trying to get the cables out of the brackets.
There you go, as you can see, it's dropped down. The back sort of drops down because his back was heavy. So you just want to drop it down to the whole floor. Just something simple like a Peugeot normal car jack's enough, just to let it down, pull it out and reverse to put the new one on. Jobs are good, axle's off. Looks a bit empty under there. Just got to put that one back on again now.
A few things I need to do to get this one ready, because obviously I'm keeping my current handbrake cables, so I'll take the handbrake cables off this one, which I'll show you because I didn't on the other one, and the brake lines, they're missing from here onwards on this axle, so I need to take the bits, these bits off this one and put them onto that one, and we should be able to swap them. Right, first things first, get some, my best friend, on these brake joints so that when I do want to undo them in a minute they stand half a chance. Oops, sorry camera. So the brake lines do tend to get a bit seized up. Trust me. Let's go on that one. And the same on the other side. It will save time in the long run. Just as a reminder really, I'll take the handbrake cables off this one, so you want to start by lifting the drum off, so you get the right socket in the middle there, undo that one. Might be a bit tight there, like so. And sometimes the drum will come off easily, and sometimes it'll be an absolute nightmare. It's not going to come off now because the whole weight's leaning on it, so I'll just flip that over. Like so. That's taking the drum off. Don't lose that little washer that's in the end. That to one side. Right, now you can see the drum assembly. Like I said earlier, to get that handbrake cable off, if you get a chisel in behind there, just lean upwards. You can pry it. Change camera, axles on. Just jacked it up with two normal jacks and caught the top bolts, jacked it up tight and then tightened it up. Just got to do the brake lines and the handbrake cables and put the drums back on and we should be done. Right, the new axle is fully on, the handbrakes are on and adjusted up. We actually have to adjust the drums inside the drums. If anyone wants to know how to do this, then leave a comment and we'll do a video. But Chris has adjusted up the handbrake inside. 2 clicks and it works. Just need to bleed the brakes back through because obviously we disconnected them, so we've got to bleed that back through again. So to do that, behind the drum you've got where the brake line goes in, and you've got this little thing here, it's called a bleed nipple. Little 8mm socket on there. Just slacken it 2 or 3 turns, that's enough because that opens the valve. Basically, you see there's a bit of brake fluid running out there now. Do that on both, well do one wheel at a time. What you want to do is have one person just keeping the master cylinder fill up with brake fluid, the other one pumping the brakes, and you want to keep doing it until no air comes out of here. When this one's done, tighten this one up, move on to the next one. This can also sort out your front, sometimes if your front brakes are a bit imbalanced, a bit of copper grease on the calipers and a good bleed will often sort this out. Right, go for it, Chris. Right, so basically we're bleeding the brakes again. Make sure we keep this top reservoir nice and topped up. As Chris is pumping it, it's got a pipe connected to that bleed nipple because it stops any air going in there when you do it up afterwards. If you look, see there's lots of air still coming out at the moment. You have to keep going until you see nice clear new fluid coming out with no air. Stop a minute, Chris.